Game starts with an intro claiming it's the end of the world and introducing 4 game characters: Alana, Hawk, Mace, and Smasher. Then we see a helicopter landing in the middle of a highway, dropping the team, and instantly a fight with bodyguards starts. After dealing with them, the fighting force breaks into the parking lot and enters the building. They go through the lobby being approached by more bodyguards and then use the elevator to go to the last floor. After beating the security in the corridor, they enter the office where a Chinese-looking bald bodybuilder escapes, jumping on a helicopter and leaves the team, fighting with his female sidekicks. Okay, are we missing some context here or what? I don't think there will be any cutscenes, so let's take a look at a good old-fashioned manual and try to find some origins of the story. By the way, if you like my work, you can support me via patreon.com or here on YouTube. You will find a link to my Patreon in the description. So, it's few years past the millennium and Dr. Dex Zeng is infuriated. This guy is a former government agent / radical scientist / professor of theology. That combo made a pure bastard believe the end of the world will come by the year 2000. He decided to start a little cult and actually gathered some believers, and they were preparing for the almighty conclusion, mainly gathering weapons and experimenting with synthetic drugs. Everyone had a nice time, but the party was spoiled when actually nothing really happened when the clock hit 12:01 on January 1st, 2000. As a classic megalomaniac cult leader, Zeng did not accept the failure, insisting that something went wrong. He even has a plan B. If the apocalypse did not come to Dr. Zeng will bring it by himself. With the help of biological warfare devices and several militant followers, as well as his connections in the underground, he tries to end the world at any cost. But one of Dr. Zeng's lab assistants, Snapper, decides she can no longer stand this man's corruption and calls on a friend to help on stopping him. She helps to bring together a team that will try to stop Dex Zeng. Mace Daniels is a beautiful private investigator who is trained in martial arts and also knows how to handle a weapon. She is 21 and has 200 IQ. Hawk Manson, once a freedom fighter, now a vigilante. He was recruited by Mace by, quote, pinning him to the ground, smiling a sexy smile, and telling him that she needs his help, end of quote. He is 26 years old and his IQ is 187. Hawk visited one of the most dangerous prisons in the world to find Ben Smasher Jackson, serving multiple life sentences, but turns out the prison is more than happy to borrow him from time to time and actually makes a decent profit out of it. Age 29, IQ 106. Last but not least, Alana McKendricks, 17-year-old high school girl who is destined to become a stripper. I mean, I'm not here to judge, but just listen to this description. Alana is a raver. She spends her nights dancing away and most of her days with little sleep while she goes to school. The semester is over and Alana is raging at all the cool warehouse parties where she hangs with her friends, but turns out Dr. Zeng tried to experiment on her with some of his drugs once, and it turns out she is his illegitimate daughter. According to the manual, she has 240 IQ and even bigger daddy issues. So this is what we get from the manual. Now back to gameplay. After beating those strippers with claws, the fighting force gets back on the streets, fighting some bikers and gang members. Zeng's truck appears, causing a traffic accident, and this pink-haired Heihachi pops up. He gets his ass whooped in the middle of the city, and then the team visits a few more locations looking for Zeng. They go to mall and metro station and fight Zeng's bodyguards in street tags. In the metro, there's a little Easter egg, as the train has a Lara Croft graffiti, because it's Eidos Interactive standing behind this game and Tomb Raider 2 is just around the corner. Apart from that, this level really feels like a Final Fight tribute, as after dealing with enemies on the station we actually jump on the train. A metalhead called Exo is the final boss in the subway level. Train takes the team to a military base and I have no idea why there are fighting soldiers, as this freaking game has no cutscenes to give any sort of context to the next level. But anyways, they beat the crap out of the soldiers and a boss with a jetpack, and we see a stealth plane lifting off and flying away. So, The fight goes there, and guys in really lame helmets join the party along with those air bikers. Fighting Force takes over the bridge and flies over the secret base hidden on an island, but the plane gets shut down and crashes. No one gets hurt during the crash, so the team just enters Zeng's secret base, and though soon more of Zeng's men approach trying to capture the Fighting Force, Hawk and others manage to progress through the facility. Clearly Zeng is doing some bio-experiments over here, and soon he releases his mutants. Call them whatever you want, but you have to give them a credit for being perfect, honorable gentlemen when it comes to fighting. The one man at a time rule was not broken for a second there. Then another elevator level that feels a lot like Final Fight. But don't get me wrong, I love Final Fight and I think those references are pretty cool. And by the way, the game is great and definitely worth playing, and that goes both to Final Fight and Fighting Force. One more thing, after beating Pink Heihachi in the city center, you actually can pick one of 3 paths. The other 2 are Park and Bronx. In the Park level, you fight a guy in a mask, looking like Casey Jones from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles universe. In Bronx, you find yourself on a bridge fighting color-haired punks. Every level will end up progressing to the subway station, but from there you can also get to choose between the air base and Navy base. In the Navy base, instead of soldiers, you fight Zeng's security and the boss is a mecha. Also, there's a different cutscene. Instead of flying a plane, the team uses a motorboat to get on the flying platform, and after beating it, we see a cutscene showing a motorboat arriving near the secret base. Time for the main dish. Team fights with Zeng and he is defeated. We see his base being blown up, though some of his men managed to escape. Zeng is not dead. He was captured and jailed for life. We see him in his cell and hear a cell door shutting. And that's how the game ends.